Oh man! Hello, fellow cultists and all those who happen to watch. Today we're going to talk about Satan. No, not really. Today we're going to talk about a good old review. Now, I wanted to... at first I was thinking, can I get away with it? And then I thought to myself, like, split second after, hell no. But, alright, we're going into a review for Resident Evil Apocalypse. Now, I got the special edition here, and of course it's a clear see-through case. It has Alice in the front here. You know, this case is in a little bit of rough shape because I don't really care about this movie too much. So, but either way, I watched this movie at first and I disliked the crap out of it. Like, I did not even, it wasn't interesting. Like, I wasn't even paying attention to the movie. So, that's why I have to watch it again, so that way I can, get a fresh assessment. Maybe if I change my mind about certain things, then, it would have been said and done. So, alright. First things first, a storyline. This bimbo Alice gets out of this, this chamber where she's been experimented on, and he does little experiments with her. She's basically the epitome of the lab rat's sex toy until they, of course, zombies break out and people go ah. But either way, long story short, she has like these superpowers and everything, and she's sort of the hero, the main character, the main protagonist of the entire movie, which I thought at first, okay, now, I remember Resident Evil for being, it had a couple of main characters and a couple main villains. Of course, some of the main villains were never really mainstays as they were meant to be. So, either way, you got a couple characters in here, which, about two, you can roughly say were people you would recognize. The rest of them, you're just like, who the fuck are these people? So, alright. First person is Jill Valentine, and the second one is Nemesis. Oliveira, I'm probably rusty with the lore of the entire series, but I have no clue who this guy is. I do believe he might have played the Chris Redfield in the third movie. I'm probably brain dead wrong, but this guy also was played in the Lord of the... No, what am I saying? He played in The Mummy and The Mummy Returns movies as the Arabian guy, the guy with the beard. So, you got these characters, and all these characters, quite frankly, at first, Jill Valentine, she isn't the type of girl... Her personality didn't really match up too much at first, until I actually had to go back and watch some... read up on Jill Valentine, make sure her personality was in sync with what the movie was, and I guess it kind of played off fine. I was, making sure I bounced back and forth, and, it added up. So, they did Jill Valentine, I felt, pretty decent in this film. Granted, they kind of made her a pussy role in this movie, this entire movie, and it was very disappointing. I mean, I wish they could have at least give her some more badass scenes for her, to basically be in, other than collecting the little girl that was Daddy's little lab rat to keep alive. So, pretty much, long story short, what the entire premise, the entire situation is, Jill Valentine, I don't really count Oliveira, because, whatever, and some random black guy, who's supposed to be like some sort of pimp or something, but, long story short, you got Jill and Alice and this Oliveira and this black guy. These guys, they're supposed to go and collect this girl who is the lab rat, and she's supposed to be this little daughter to this guy that was this main guy that was supposed to be his main doctor, rather, that was, part of Umbrella Corporation's scheme to make super soldiers out of reanimated tissue and all this stuff, making them superhuman. So, you watched the entire movie, and I was really disappointed with a couple of things in the movie. Like, at first, they made Nemesis pretty badass. They gave him a couple role parts in the movie, which he was a badass role. I mean, then they put him against Alice, and I was kind of like scratching my head going, you didn't even let the guy really fight back as much. He didn't really put up a fight. I mean, you got this superhuman brute that has like a chain gun and a rocket launcher, and he's going against this little bimbo, and it's like, you're making her beat his ass? Are you serious? I would have really wanted to see that, Nemesis beat the holy shit out of her like he did to Jill Valentine. I mean, come on. At least give him some sort of edge. That's the whole point the movie's supposed to be about. The enemy or the anti-protagonist is supposed to have a little bit of an edge over the character, but yet the other characters pull through in the end. I mean, that's usually how I would hope they would have went, but instead Alice, becomes a super human character of the role. He shows her the guy Nemesis, which is Max, which the guy from the first one looked like Max Payne. They showed him remorse, then he showed if he paid the debt over and said, okay, I'm going to kill these bastards who are trying to betray me, and blah, 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 all over the freaking screen. And I was looking at all this crap, and I was heavily disappointed at most of it. And, granted, the storyline wasn't too bad, and one of the things, though, that really set me over edge, honestly set me over edge, was the back of the case of this. And this is quoted, fans of the game will love this movie. And this is from Sean Edwards of Fox TV. Now, of course, this film is made by Columbia TriStar. There we go. Always screw up the name and make sure I got it right. Columbia TriStar. And, again, I'm watching all this. I mean, there's some parts of the movie I did like. A couple of the characters they put in the movie were kind of accurate. And, again, I'm not saying the movie's completely shit. I'm saying the movie's bad up to a point. And the rest of it, it's fine. It sort of fills itself in. It makes some relevant sense. But when it comes to the game, I don't really think it really ties in too much with the game other than Jill Valentine and the name Nemesis and Umbrella Corporation ever being in the game. The rest of it, you just look at it and you go, okie dokie? Because, I mean, they just do off the entire Raccoon City with a nuke. Like, just this movie. They call it Apocalypse for a reason. They blow up the whole damn city. And I could have sworn this is probably, I mean, it does tie in because they believe they did blow up Raccoon City around the third game. I'm not sure, 100% certain. I gotta brush up again. So, Jill Valentine being in the same scenario with Nemesis and the Raccoon City blowing up, I guess it sort of ties in with the movie, the game rather, but again, it's abstract at best. Now, would I consider this movie the high-budget film of the year? Hell no. To me, it's still a B-movie that some director had really, honestly, no clue other than watching a couple bits of a game or reading up brightly or very lightly on some sort of transcript, put this movie together and expected you to like it. Now, some people who probably had never even played the game, so loved this movie to death, thought it was good. And, that's fine. I'm not changing people's opinions. This is more my opinion than anything else, and I'm expressing it that way. So and I'm looking at this entire movie, and I didn't really like it too much. I mean, I'm not saying it was a horrible movie by any means whatsoever. There's movies that have been much more worse than this movie has been released. But for Resident Evil fans, this movie did not even do it justice. Ugh. And for people to look at this and say, look at the back of this case and go, the fans of the game will love this. I'm saying that again in my head, and I'm saying it out loud again. It's just like, are you serious? I don't think it was entirely true to the game. I mean, granted, they did show some of the characters and demonstrated how they were like in the game a little bit. But again, they sort of sidetracked all the main characters from the original games to make this Alice bitch some sort of superhuman just because she was the bitch from Fifth Element. That's just all I consider as, the bitch from the Fifth Element. I mean, they make her the main character, whatever. They're trying to pay somebody, I suppose. That $60 million they threw into it, the last film that just came out. They had to put some money out, I suppose, right? So, overall, I rate this film as something that, if you have a friend who owns it, try to borrow it from your friend first and watch it yourself and see what you think of it. If you've already seen it, you probably agree with me with it, you didn't think it was really entirely true with the games, then, we shake and we agree. If you're one of the people who never even watched the games or even played them at any sort of point whatsoever, you probably might like this movie, man. There's really two sides to look at this movie. There's the abstract side that if you look at it, you're not going to like it. If you haven't even watched the games at all, you're going to like it. That's all I can really say. I mean, other than quality, I think that the first Resident Evil movie I thought was alright. This one I was on the fence about, still am. My opinion is still both-sided because I'm looking at two fair sides of the spectrum. The third one I thought was complete shit. And the fourth one I haven't even seen yet, so I couldn't even tell you. I heard not so many good things about it. So, again, this is DanVanDam, counting this off as number 5 for the 31 Ghoulish movies and games, marking off Resident Evil Apocalypse, I just said Extinction. Apocalypse, I'm sorry, for my review. Now, if you thought this review was very, very bland and very, very unorganized, that is just too bad, sonny. Because I'm just speaking off the top of my head and I'm not looking at some silly cards because I'm not no professional show. I'm doing this for fun. So take it easy, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching.